Hey everyone, we're diving deep into the incredible world of human emotion. This is a journey I hold close to my heart, and I'm so glad you're here to explore it with me. You see, emotions, they're not just these fleeting feelings that come and go. They're powerful forces that shape our experiences, our relationships, our entire lives. They're the language of our hearts, and understanding them, well, that's key to understanding ourselves. Over these next few chapters, we're going to unpack 27 distinct categories of emotion. We'll uncover the unique nuances of each, because believe me, there's so much more to them than meets the eye. And we'll explore how they intertwine, these threads of emotion woven into the tapestry of our lives. So buckle up and get ready. This is about to get real, raw, and deeply human. Let's dive in.
Let's start with an emotion that lights us up from the inside out. Joy. It's that feeling of pure delight, a lightness in our chests, a smile that spreads without even trying. Joy can be found in the simplest of moments: a warm hug, a breathtaking sunset, the sound of laughter echoing around us. It's in the connections we forge, the achievements we celebrate, the gratitude that washes over us when we pause to appreciate the good, and the impact of joy on our well-being. It's profound. It reduces stress, boosts our immune systems, even helps us build resilience in the face of challenges. Joy is a powerful antidote to the difficulties life throws our way. It reminds us that even amid struggles, there is still beauty, there is still love, there is still so much to be grateful for. So embrace joy, let it fill you up, and watch how it transforms you from the inside out.
Now, let's talk about an emotion that sits at the very core of our relationships: trust. It's that feeling of safety, of knowing someone has our back, of believing in their integrity and their intentions. Trust is the invisible thread that binds us to others. It's the foundation upon which we build strong, meaningful connections. Without trust, relationships crumble. Communication breaks down, and we're left feeling vulnerable and alone. Building trust takes time, effort, and consistency. It's about showing up authentically, being vulnerable, and honoring our commitments. It's about extending grace when we mess up, because let's face it, we all do. But just as trust can be built, it can also be broken. And when that happens, it can be incredibly painful. It can shake us to our core and make us question everything we thought we knew. Repairing broken trust is possible, but it requires honesty, accountability, and a willingness to do the work.
Fear. It's a primal emotion hardwired into us, keeping us safe from threats. But today, fear often holds us back. We've all felt that squeeze in our chest, the quickening pulse, fear of failure, the unknown, or success. These fears can paralyze us. The key is to shine a light on it. Acknowledge it, understand its root. Vulnerability opens the door to connection. In shared experience, we find strength to move forward.
Surprise, unlike fear, arrives unexpectedly, a sudden jolt to our system. It can be a positive surprise, a delightful twist in the narrative, like an unexpected gift or a chance encounter. Or it can be negative, a jarring disruption to our expectations, leaving us reeling. Think about the last time you were truly surprised. Do you remember that initial shock, that moment of disorientation before you could even process what was happening? Surprise has a way of hijacking our thoughts, leaving us momentarily speechless and unsure. But within that initial shock lies an opportunity. Surprise, in many ways, is a doorway to growth. It forces us to recalibrate, to adjust our expectations, and to adapt to a new reality. It reminds us that life is unpredictable, and sometimes the greatest adventures lie outside of our carefully crafted plans. So the next time you're caught off guard, take a moment to pause before reacting. Embrace that feeling of surprise, that sense of wonder. Allow yourself to be present in the unknown and see where this unexpected turn might lead you.
Sadness. It's an emotion we often try to avoid, to numb, to push away. We're conditioned to believe that happiness is the goal and sadness is a sign of weakness. But sadness is a natural, human emotion, just as valid and important as any other. It allows us to connect with others on a deeper level, to to understand their pain. Sadness is not a sign of weakness, but a testament to our capacity to love deeply.
Let's talk about disgust. Disgust is a fascinating emotion, often serving as a protective mechanism. It helps us avoid harmful things like rotten food. We also experience moral disgust, reacting to ethical wrongs. It's our body's way of signaling something is off. Understanding triggers is essential, as they vary by upbringing and culture. Disgust can be misused to shame and reinforce prejudice.
Anger, it's an emotion that often gets a bad rap, right? We're taught to suppress it, to bottle it up, but anger holds valuable information. It's a signal telling us something is wrong. Feeling anger is normal. Recognize its message. What is your anger trying to tell you? Channel that energy into setting boundaries and creating change.
Anticipation. It's that delicious feeling of excitement, of looking forward to something with a mix of nerves and exhilaration. Think about the moments leading up to a big event, a first date, a job interview, a long-awaited trip. That flutter in your stomach, the quickening of your pulse, that's anticipation at work. There's a certain energy to anticipation, a sense of possibility, of things about to unfold. Anticipation can be a powerful motivator. Leaning into positive anticipation can fuel our efforts and keep us focused. Love is more nuanced than a single emotion. It's a tapestry of joy, connection, vulnerability, and pain. Romantic love, parental love, and friendship each have unique melodies. Love requires courage and vulnerability. In vulnerability, we find the power of connection. Love is a verb, a daily act of courage, and let's not forget self-love. Embrace yourself with compassion and kindness. Explore the many faces of love in your life. Remorse is a heavy emotion, a weight that settles deep in the pit of our stomach. It's the painful realization that we've made a mistake and caused harm. But remorse can also be a catalyst for growth. It's an opportunity to learn and make amends. And sometimes making amends means forgiving ourselves. It means stepping out of the shadows of shame and into the light of accountability. The only way out is through. Or it's that feeling of being overwhelmed by something vast and extraordinary. It might be the breathtaking beauty of a natural wonder, the intricate complexity of a scientific discovery, or the sheer power of a musical performance. In those moments of awe, we feel small yet connected. Our worries fade, replaced by a sense of wonder. Experiencing awe can shift our perspective, making us feel more connected to something larger. So, how do we invite more awe into our lives? It's about cultivating curiosity and noticing the extraordinary in the ordinary. Appreciate the small wonders that surround us every day. Envy. It's a feeling we often experience but rarely want to admit to, right? It's that pang in our chest when we see someone else achieving something we desire. But what's really at the root of envy? Envy often stems from a place of scarcity. We start comparing ourselves to others. It's rarely a fair fight. Everyone is on their own journey. Envy can poison our relationships. So how can we move through envy in a healthier way? Acknowledge it without judgment. Recognize that envy is a normal human emotion. Try shifting your perspective. See it as inspiration. Pride. It's an emotion that can lift us up or lead to our downfall. We often talk about it as a positive feeling, a sense of accomplishment and self-worth, and it certainly can be. When we work hard and achieve something meaningful, feeling proud is a natural and healthy response. But pride also has a shadow side. It can easily morph into arrogance and hubris, blinding us to our own flaws and creating distance between ourselves and others. When pride becomes excessive, it can lead to defensiveness, a resistance to feedback, and an inability to learn and grow. So how do we navigate this complex emotion? How do we embrace the positive aspects of pride without succumbing to its potential pitfalls? It starts with cultivating humility. Humility isn't about diminishing our accomplishments, but rather acknowledging that we are all works in progress, always learning and growing. It's about recognizing that our achievements are often the result of collaboration, support from others, and a little bit of luck. Shame, it's the intensely painful feeling that we are inherently flawed. Unlike guilt, shame cuts to the core of who we believe we are. It thrives in secrecy and silence. We withdraw, hide, and disconnect. We build walls around our hearts. The key to dismantling shame's power is empathy. Share your stories, break the silence. You're not alone in your shame. Guilt, let's talk about it. Guilt serves an important purpose. It's a signal that our actions have veered off course. It often arises when we've done something against our values. Guilt is uncomfortable but an opportunity. It motivates us to make amends and grow. We live in a culture that constantly pushes us to want more. Ambition can leave us feeling perpetually dissatisfied. Cultivate contentment, that deep sense of peace and satisfaction. It's about finding joy and gratitude in the present moment. Appreciate what we have rather than focusing on what we lack. True happiness isn't something we chase, it's cultivated from within. Embrace contentment for a more peaceful, grounded way of being. Gratitude is perhaps the most transformative emotion. It's the quality of being thankful, recognizing the good in our lives. Practicing gratitude can profoundly impact our well-being. It shifts our focus from what we lack to what we have. Gratitude reminds us of life's abundance, even in tough times. We've all felt it, haven't we? That hollow pang in our chest, the feeling of being unseen, unheard, unknown. That's loneliness whispering its familiar tune. It's a universal human experience, yet we often treat it like a shameful secret. Loneliness isn't just about being physically alone. It can creep in even when surrounded by people. But here's the thing about loneliness. It's a signal, a call to action. Hope. It's a word whispered in times of despair, a flicker of light in the darkest of nights. It's the belief that even when things are tough, there's still a chance for things to get better. Hope is the oxygen to our soul, the fuel that keeps us going. True hope requires action, a willingness to keep moving forward. It's about taking small steps, even when we're stumbling in the darkness. Hope is a practice, a muscle we strengthen every time we choose courage over comfort, because that's where hope thrives, in the messy, imperfect, beautiful journey of being human. We've all been there, that feeling of being stuck, of spinning our wheels and getting nowhere fast. Frustration is a natural human response to obstacles and setbacks. It's a signal that something isn't working, that our needs aren't being met. Frustration can be a powerful catalyst for change. Lean into it, understand the message it's conveying, adjust expectations, change approach, or ask for help. Channel frustration into constructive action. Relief. It's the feeling when a weight is lifted, when tension breaks. We've all felt it in different ways after a difficult conversation or a stressful deadline. Relief often washes over us physically. Shoulders drop, jaw unclenches, a deep exhale. It's our body's way of saying we made it. It's deeply connected to our emotional well-being. So lean into it, savor that moment of release. Compassion. It's the ability to see the suffering of another and feel moved to help. Compassion is one of the bravest things we can do. It requires us to be vulnerable, to open ourselves up to the pain of others. True compassion isn't about fixing or problem solving. Cultivating compassion starts with self-compassion. When we can be gentle with our own imperfections, it becomes easier to extend that same grace to others. Jealousy, it's a complex emotion that can twist and turn within us. It's that prickle of envy, that pang of insecurity over something we value. Jealousy whispers stories in our ears, rooted in our deepest fears. We compare ourselves to others, feeling inadequate or threatened. While jealousy can be painful, it can also be a powerful teacher. It illuminates what we hold dear and where we feel insecure. Instead of suppressing jealousy, approach it with curiosity and compassion. Nostalgia, it's such a layered emotion, isn't it? That bittersweet ache for a time gone by, an old song or familiar scent can transport us back. Nostalgia can be comforting, reminding us of our roots. It connects us to our past selves, but it has its complexities. It can make us avoid the present. We've all been there, scrolling through old photos on a tough day. It's important to be mindful of how nostalgia serves us. Is it offering comfort or keeping us stuck? Find a balance. Let nostalgia connect us without defining us. Embrace the fullness of our lives, both joy and sorrow. Empathy, it's the ability to connect with what someone else is feeling, to see the world through their eyes, to feel their joy and pain. It's the foundation of compassion and true human understanding. Empathy requires vulnerability and setting aside our own perspectives. It's about being present with someone in their pain or joy, listening with our hearts, not just our heads. Empathy is not always easy. It can be uncomfortable, even painful. But in those moments, empathy becomes most important. We create space for healing, connection, and love. We all have the capacity for empathy. It's a part of our shared humanity. You know that feeling, right? That restless, antsy feeling when the stimulation stops. We live in a world vying for our attention, so when the noise dies down, it can feel boring. But here's the thing about boredom. We often avoid it. We fill every quiet moment with something to keep boredom at bay. But what if we leaned into the discomfort of boredom? What if we got curious about it? Boredom can be a signal. It can be our mind and body telling us we're craving something deeper. Maybe it's a sign to reconnect with a neglected passion. So the next time boredom comes knocking, try not to slam the door, invite it in and see what it has to say. You might be surprised by what you discover in the stillness. Curiosity. It's the force that propels us forward, the engine of exploration and growth. It's that innate desire to know more, to understand, to peel back the layers of the world around us. When we're curious, we're fully engaged. Our minds are alive with possibility. Think about a time when you were deeply curious about something. Remember that feeling of excitement, that eagerness to dive in and explore. Curiosity is a vulnerable emotion. It requires us to admit that we don't have all the answers. But in that vulnerability lies incredible strength. When we allow ourselves to be curious, we open ourselves up to new experiences, new perspectives, new ways of seeing the world and ourselves. We become lifelong learners, always evolving, always seeking, and that, my friends, is a beautiful thing. So how do we cultivate more curiosity in our lives? It starts with asking questions, lots of them. Don't be afraid to ask why or how or what if. Embrace the unknown and let your curiosity be your guide. As we conclude our exploration of these 27 states of emotion, let's remember this. Our emotions are not isolated incidents. They're threads in the intricate tapestry of our lives, interwoven and interconnected. They color our experiences, shape our relationships, and guide us on our journeys. Take a moment to reflect on what we've discussed. How have these emotions shown up in your own life? How have they shaped your decisions, your interactions, your sense of self? The more we understand our own emotional landscape, the more equipped we are to navigate the complexities of life. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you found this exploration helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe for more content on emotional well-being. And remember, be kind to yourself, be curious about your emotions, and above all, be brave enough to feel